Hello and welcome to the first ever draft day on the FPL Singhs channel. Today is just a matter of hours away from the kickoff first ever game week of the 2021-2022 FPL season, and today I'm joined with an esteemed guest, 6 times in the top 1%. He's finished in the last 7 years. That's absolutely ridiculous. Crazy consistency. I'm honored to have him on this channel for the first show. Right before we get into that, I want to tell you guys a little bit about a giveaway that we're doing. It's going to be on my Twitter channel. The giveaway involves our page, and I teamed up with Pixel Print Design on Twitter. And you'll see the post going up right after this stream. And once this stream is over, make sure to stay tuned, watch the whole stream. Only then go over to Twitter and subscribe. One cheeky thing that I have for the subscribers is that every subscriber that participates in the giveaway stands a chance of a double entry. So you have twice the chance of winning. So if you're subscribed and you like this video, you have 2 chances of winning the giveaway that you see on your screen right now. So let's get into the video. Hello Zhou, how are you doing?
Hey, Proud. Thanks for good to be here. Like such an honor to be the first guest in your own show. So I think we all can't wait for the season to start already. I think we are looking at what 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
which is a very short time. So if you guys haven't got your team ready, now is the time. I mean, hopefully after this show, I think you should have enough time to set up your team. And don't forget, the deadline is only 2.5
Yeah,
hours
that's
away.
crazy scenes. I'm absolutely buzzing, as you can see by my expressions. First show, first guest, one of the best people that I've known, even though I've known him for such a short time, but he's been absolutely supportive throughout my journey. On Twitter, sharing all my content, being so open, giving me a lot of tips and insight. Absolutely buzzing again, just to reiterate that. 35 concurrent viewers in the stream already. That's absolutely crazy. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into Zhou's team reveal. As you can see on screen, Zhou, take it away.
Okay, so actually this draft, I mean, I would say this is locked. I mean, like what Nitro said, just now, or in the comments just now, he said this is the L word. I would say yes. I would say this is my locked team for now.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? Because I think news are pouring in even right now. I think if you're in FPL Twitter, you will probably see the chaos, which is how we know Twitter is as it is. Pre-season chaos, team news flying in, players rumored not to start, or teams rumored, because now this especially. I mean, I think this is the second season we had this COVID around, so we sort of tend to forget that it's still around in especially in the UK. But I think it is something that we cannot take it lightly, definitely, not just in our lives, but also in FPL. So, which is why I came out with this draft. I think if you ask Prab yesterday, even when I sent to him my team, there are a few changes already. So if you look at my defense, I think if you follow me on Twitter, I think the starting 11 is really almost similar to my last
Yeah.
draft. But I have Luca Dean, from Everton, which I dropped him because he was probably the only player that I wasn't too comfortable having. I think firstly because we see how poor they perform against United in their
Yeah.
preseason, and secondly he sort of lost set piece duties to Andros Townsend, and then after that, during that, DCL was injured, but I think
he has started training.
He has started
I
training.
think he is in contention to start. But who knows how much training he has clocked in with the team. And just latest news, I think 1 hour ago, we heard of
five Everton players isolating due to COVID-19. But I think DCL and Luka Dean should be fine to start. But still, there are so many uncertainties going around the team, and I'm not comfortable with having a 5.5 defender, which probably, will troll us instead of rewarding us. I think those who own Dean previous seasons will remember of this lucky draw, in a wheel where he will sometimes give you double digits or sometimes give you a negative score. I think we have all experienced it as a former Luka Dean owner. So I think this which is why I changed to Simicas. I think if you're in Twitter, you will know of the hype that is around this player. I think first and foremost is ultimately I think it's because of his price. 4 million, almost almost I would say sure to start due to Robertson's injury. For how long I don't think we know for sure. But many people says, you remember Justin of last season, where Pereira got injured, and then everybody those who went on Justin were rewarded heavily, and everybody said, oh no, I think it's too late. Pereira should be coming back soon. So people are saying, who knows, maybe this kind of thing is going to happen again for Robertson. I mean, we wish Robertson well. He's a great player, but we don't know what's going to happen. So which is why I put a 4 million defender, Liverpool defender, which is facing Norwich in the first game week in there. And after downgrading, after releasing some funds, I went on to boost up my bench, which you can see. I have Emil Smith-Rowe and Ben White, along with Luke Ayling in the bench. I really think strong bench is still really not something not to be taken lightly. I think especially with the COVID-19 around, we know players will suddenly, because now the deadline is still 1.5 hours away instead of 1 hour. So news might come flying in, those many uncertainties will come flying in and out. And then after that, if you realize a player doesn't start, then you need to rely on the bench. I think we have also learned that lesson last season, where players will just suddenly get dropped due to injury or COVID-19 or many other reasons. Which is why I think this season we will still see, or we'll still need a decent bench. I mean, when I talk about decent, it's because I see teams with 4 million defenders, and then like just before the show, I talked to Prab, even the Norwich defender that started every minute in the preseason is down with illness. I think this news also came like 1 hour ago. So Amati is, Vestergaard, I think they agreed on a deal with Vestergaard. So Vestergaard will come in really soon as well. Who knows, maybe he will start straight away. We wouldn't know. So Amati is also another doubt, and the Norwich defender is also a doubt. I personally call him Omo. So he's a doubt as well. I don't think there's any other 4 million defenders to consider.
So let's just talk about your midfield now. That's where your midfield and attack is where you get your most points, where you can attack your team, where you can say where the game is won and lost and what determines your rank. So tell us a bit about your midfield and attack and why you made those choices.
Okay, I think Ben Rama, I think we know he was brought in last season, I think in West Ham with quite a lot of hype. but I think he didn't get to lift up that hype. I think because also lack of chances and injuries here and there. And then after that second half of season, you have Lingard being so on form, so on fire for West Ham, sort of like puts Benrahma at the back seat. So I think this season with Lingard out, I think it is Benrahma's time to shine. He did really well in preseason. I think now it's only his spot to lose. I think David Moyes has mentioned, I think in the presser just now as well, that Benrahma is playing really well, and then we just see how it goes from there. So basically, I think chances, this is now his chance, and whether he sees it or not, it depends on him. But of course, for our sakes, at 6 million as a midfielder with exciting prospects, we hope that he finally gets to live up to his potential. Barnes, I think Barnes, he's a really exciting player. He is trigger happy. He runs at defenders. I still remember like 2 seasons ago where he first burst into the scene. I remember he loves taking shots. Any chance he gets, he just whack the ball. It's just that during then he was nervous, not as clinical. His shots just flew wide most of the time. But the spirit is there. He wants to do well. He wants to score. He wants to contribute to his team in terms of attack. So last season, I think we have seen him improve in terms of his shooting ability. It's just unfortunate that he got injured at the back end of last season. But now he's roaring back, ready to go. I think he had a good preseason, and I think we are lucky as FPL managers to get him at 7 million. Also probably due to his injury at the back end of the season. If not, I think he definitely at least 7.5. So I think he's quite undervalued. Do note that Rogers said that he's not 100% fit. So meaning that I think his minutes will be still controlled by the manager. I think 65 to 70 at most minutes before like another player such as Daka or Iheanacho comes in. I think Fernandes and Salah, I don't think we need to say much about these two. But one thing to note about Fernandes is it'll be quite interesting to see when Sancho gets into the team and how Fernandes, will he change his position or will he change his play style to blend in with Sancho? I think that's something to look up. I think Salah, I don't think we need to mention much. He loves to play against promoted teams. I think last season, if those who were captain Salah last season, the first game week, we are hoping that he repeats that. It's just whether will he still be on penalties if Milner gets in the team. I think that remains to be seen. But personally, I think he will still get it. He still get penalty duties. But I think it's ultimately up to Milner to decide. And then I think Antonio and Ings. Antonio had a great preseason. I think partly due to Benrahma's form as well. Both of them had great chemistry. They supported each other well in the preseason. I think West Ham scored a lot in the preseason. And Antonio, it looks fit. The hamstring still holds on well, hopefully. And yeah, that's Antonio. Tony is another player that I personally quite confident in him. Looking at his interviews, I think I mentioned this before. Looking at his interviews, he has really, really high confidence on his own ability, which is very important for a striker, especially a striker that loves to take shots and loves to take on defenses. Self-confidence is really, really important. So I think Tony, he really wants to prove that he's ready for the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see later how he performs against Arsenal. Danny Ings is another player that we saw a glimpse of his potential in Southampton. I think Southampton last season. I think Ings also was sort of like injured in and out last season. So we didn't really get much chances, but yet he still, I think at some games he still performed.
For sure.
yeah, he's a player that people say he I would say he's not one of those high XG players, but his finishing is really good, really clinical. He don't need that many big chances to score. But with the Villa team now, you have Leon Bailey probably coming in soon. I don't think he will start in Gameweek 1. I think Bundia will start in Gameweek 1. He looks fit during training. So I think Bundia is another player that loves to create chances. His underlying stats were crazy in Norwich, even when they were in the Premier League. It's just that I think the players around him couldn't really capitalize on his ability, but which I think Ings will.
I agree.
Which is why I am pretty excited having Ings in the team. For at least game week, or for at least the first few game weeks. So these are my starting lineup.
So that's a pretty, if I may say so myself, pretty template, but I think it's a good blend of punts as well as reliable picks, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So in that case, let's move on to the next part of the show. Here we go. All right. This part of the show is called Sleepers, Keepers, Weepers. What I mean by this is, what a sleeper is someone that we've been sleeping on, all right, for this game week. And a keeper is someone that everyone needs to have in their teams. So someone we need to keep. And a weeper is someone that our expert think is going to make us flop, who is going to flop and make us weep at the end of the game week. So here we have 3 players that Zhou has picked, and yeah, take it away.
Okay, I think for my sleeper pick, I am looking at Sadio Mane. He's really underlooked at the moment. I think it is because of how everyone goes for Salah instead. I'm looking at his ownership right now. He's only 4.6% owned, which is, any player below 5%, I would say is extreme differential. I think last season he also shared that he was probably his toughest season of his life. I think he was really quite low in confidence, and I think of course, even low in confidence, he still did manage to score 11 goals and 11 assists, but pales in comparison with his previous two seasons. But I think he would probably definitely want to put that behind him, and would probably want to repeat, especially the what you call it, the season he had in 2018-19, where he scored 22 goals, which is huge for a midfield. So I think he is someone who probably definitely overlooked, and I think he will do definitely better than last season.
Yeah. And what about your keeper then for this game week?
Okay, like I mentioned, I'm quite confident in Tony. I think why I say he's a keeper is also because of his price point at 6.5. A player of his mentality, and we know he can perform. Although you might say it's a championship level, but let's say we convert to Premier League level, even half of that, what he achieved last season is huge, great value for 6.5. So which is why I rate him as a
And what
keeper.
about your weeper then? Controversial.
My weeper is a controversial one. I think because, I don't know, personally, maybe because I went for Backman instead of Sanchez. But yes, Brighton has great underlying defensive stats. But we really don't know how they will cope without Ben White. Whether will how how will they work as a team without Ben White? I think especially in defense, I think they will probably tail off a little bit in terms of their stats. But how far down will they go? We will never know. And even though they are playing, I mean, they are talking about sleepers, keepers, and weepers for game week 1. Even though they are playing against Burnley, I don't think we can brush off Burnley, because I think Burnley, if I'm not mistaken, almost the back end of last season, they're suddenly playing like attacking football, scoring goals, and Chris Wood loves to play at home. So I think Chris Wood might be the one that's going to break the hearts of those who has Sanchez.
Before we move on, I've just seen Jay Daly in the chat. I think for those United fans, you might know him from the United Stand. Absolute pleasure to have him on the show. He says, "I'm in the gym now. Team picked. I have Bruno, San, Salah, Rafinha in my midfield, all keepers. I think that's a pretty solid midfield. If I'm gonna say so myself. What do you think, Zo?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think Son will hit the ground running again. I think he had a great preseason, scoring goals for fun. He wasn't involved in the Euros. He wasn't involved in the Olympics. So I think he is fit and roaring to go. Definitely a great pick. In fact, if you see the next segment of this show, you will see him in this special team that I made. I think as we see City in the Community Shield, they were quite, I don't know, if you ask me, they were quite sloppy. They were everywhere. I'm not sure whether the same team will play in game week 1, but I think they will still miss quite a number of big players. So I fancy Son to actually do against City in game week 1. And Rafinha, I don't think we can deny his ability. It's at 6.5, definitely undervalued by a long mile. I think definitely, most, if not all of us, will probably own Rafinha at some point in the season. I'm definitely going to own him once Leeds, in terms of the fixtures start to improve. I think game week 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. So Rafinha is definitely
All
a
right,
good pick.
so let's now move on to the next segment of the show. Here we have a free hit team that is prepared for game week 1. So a free hit team is essentially will contain those players that he thinks will just do well on game week 1 itself. So not considering game week 2 onwards. So yeah, please.
Okay, like I mentioned just now, this is a special team that I put up on game week 1, specifically for game week 1, who I think will perform. I think we cannot deny that that triple Liverpool. I think Liverpool, we are looking at them performing, sort of like take the game week 1 by storm. I think they would probably definitely will want to do that, take all 3 points. But then again, Norwich is not a slouch either. But I still think Liverpool will overpower them, especially with some of the injuries that Norwich are still facing. So and Tsimikas, 4 million, no brainer if he's a free hit team, because he releases a lot of funds for the rest of the team. So I think this triple Liverpool is I don't think I need to say much. Another thing is Chelsea. I think Chelsea defense last season, especially Tuchel took over, he really improves that defense. And I think we hardly see any Chelsea defense in especially in FPL Twitter. But I think in game week 1, I think they will do well against Palace. Palace under Vieira, we have not really. I'm not sure whether they have really set like a system in the team. I still think they are trying to discover their rhythm, which and And Chelsea, we know this season they are making a statement. I think they are really gunning for the title, especially with the Lukaku acquisition. So they would definitely want to make a statement in game week 1 to take all 3 points, especially at home in front of the fans. So I fancy them keeping a clean sheet and Havertz to do some damage against Palace, which is why I have triple Chelsea there as well. Son, I think I mentioned him just now. I think he will, he will fancy his chances against City at home. I can see him doing something against City, which is why I put him there. Greenwood is another interesting one. I think Greenwood will most probably nail to start at game week 1 with Cavani out. And I think Martial is not fully match fit as well. So I think Greenwood should fancy a start. I think Sancho will probably be on the bench. I don't think Sancho will start. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll never know. But
I think
yeah.
if I'm being optimistic, he might. But I think realistically thinking, he might. I don't think he starts because of his, not just because of how long he's been training, more because that he was ill before, and he just came back. So yeah.
Yeah, and we need to remember that they are facing Leeds, which is a really hardworking team. They will run at you anywhere in the field, all through the 90 minutes. But I think Greenwood definitely should be nailed to start, which is why I put in the game week 1 team. I think Tony and Ings, I mentioned them just now, so probably no need to mention. But if you look at the bench, basically bench fodders, because I want to maximize the first 11. So that's the free hit team for game week 1.
Right. That's a pretty intense team if you were to just play FPL for 1 week and then leave and then put your phones away and just not come back to the game. I think you'll probably be in number 1 spot for just a week though. So short-lived, but fruitful to say the least. And now we move on to the last but not the least segment of the show. It's going to be a good one, trust me. Alright, here we have 60-second surgery. And what 60-second surgery is, essentially is, we're going to be rating, we're going to give the expert 60 seconds to rate your teams that you've sent in on Twitter. So he has 60 seconds to rate as many teams as he can. So once he's not just going to rate them, he's basically going to do surgery like the title says. He's going to nitpick at your team, give you options that he proposes could be better. And then we're gonna see if he can rate as many how many teams he can rate in the 60 seconds time period. So let me know when you're ready.
So sorry Prab, I'm not sure where this team will appear. Is it?
Yeah, you can. I think you can check it on YouTube.
Oh, let me just. Because my YouTube is.
All right, just give me a second. Before that, maybe you can tell us about your predictions and I'll send you the team. Your prediction for tonight's game, that is Arsenal and Brentford.
Okay, Arsenal and Brentford. I think latest news we get is Lacazette and Aubameyang will be out. I think Brentford will probably want to do well. I think Arsenal, I don't know. I think it'd be low scoring definitely, but probably I would say maybe Brentford get the win, 1-0.
Unfortunately for Arsenal fans, that is my prediction.
All right. So do you see Ivan Toney getting on the score sheet?
I hope so. I definitely hope so.
Hope so. All right. So just give me a second. I'll just send you those teams. Sorry for this technical issue, guys. Yeah. Yeah, do you have it?
Yep.
All right, so we'll start. I'll give you about We'll start in whenever you say. Whenever you say go, we'll start.
Okay, so first team. Let's
Alright.
go. Kabir Singh _10. Okay, I look at his team. Pretty solid. 4-4-2. I think all the players should be able to start. Only Amati, maybe he'll be replaced by Vestergaard probably a few weeks down the line. But I think overall currently is a good team. Next. Next is James Clary, right? So James Clary 3-5-2. I think pretty solid formation. I think because I think we have many good midfields this season. Good to go. Good to go.
Right.
Next. 3-5-2. Memo. Wow.
You have
Interesting
20
team.
seconds.
Oh no, I think good to go as
Alright,
well.
next.
I think because they all start 4-4-2.
5, 4,
Wow, they're all really good teams.
2,
Good to go.
1. Okay, your time's up. Okay, we'll just. I know it's unfortunate for those who missed out, so I think we still have a little bit time to just check out the rest of the teams. Okay, so you want to check out the next team by Mitch Green 1990? I think this might be interesting.
Yeah, I think I think Scarlett probably probably is the fodder, but I think he has the bench pretty covered with Ben White and Ailing. Mahrez, yeah, Mahrez is, will he start? I think he will start definitely, but probably after that, when the other players come back, he might get rotated again. But I think his bench covers that. So I think it's a good team. Wow, all these teams are
Last
really
one
decent.
from Joe on Twitter.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure why Townsend starts over Gundogan. I would probably start Gundogan instead.
What about Fornals in midfield?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just saw him. That's in that case, I'll probably start because I'm not sure whether Townsend is part of the isolating players. I think Fornals. Tough one. This one is tough. I would probably. I'll probably play Gundogan. Probably for Fornals. Fornals will probably put at the first sub, and Gundogan goes in. And he has Maupay as well. I think Maupay he will start, but whether will he do any damage?
What transfers do you think he should make before the deadline? If you were to make them.
I don't know. If you ask me, if you pick Fornals, why not just try to go for Benrahma? I would probably do that. I mean, not because I have him in my team. I think Maupay is 6.5. I think Maupay we can leave him there. It's just Townsend. I would probably prefer Emil Smith-Rowe than Townsend. At 5.5 price point, I think Emil Smith-Rowe at 5.5, he's really underpriced. I think he's nailed to start most of the games. And with Aubameyang and Lacazette out, I think he would probably, do some damage. I mean, he's probably one of the players that Arsenal is hoping to do something against Brentford.
So just to end off, we'll just take a couple questions from the chat, and I'll just read them out, and then you can answer it as and when. Okay, first of all, I think Kishmat in the chat asked when he will update about his coming week's team. You can check that out at the start of the show. He did that then. Saul just said, how many differentials should you have in your starting 11? A quick fire round. Yeah.
Okay, I would probably keep it at 2, at most 3. And then when I say differential, to me, it's under 10% ownership.
Alright, so earlier in the chat, one Zulhelmi said, would you consider Son if you don't have Bruno?
Ooh, if I don't have Bruno, I would consider. Yeah, I would if I don't have Bruno, because if I don't have Bruno, then I would have quite a lot of cash to spend. And Son is 10 million. I think 10 million is also a good price for Son. I would probably try to fit Son in.
Alright, so FPL Swang said earlier, where is Dunk?
I don't think Swing can ever escape from Dunk. Personally, I don't know. I'm not too keen on Brighton's defense. I don't know. Last season I had them a few times. I had Veltman, I had Lamptey. Just talking about Lamptey gives me flashbacks. Even now he got injured again. I think personally Brighton defense, Dunk is probably the best player to bring in their defense. I mean, other than the goalkeeper. But personally, I'm probably staying away at the moment for Brighton defense.
Nicholas in the chat, FPL Nitro that is, says Wilson versus Antonio.
Oh,
Antonio.
Antonio.
We have another one. Last question for today. Simmerdeep Singh said, Son and Benrahma or Mahrez and Greenwood?
Ooh. Son and Benrahma or wow, I think. Oh, this is a tough one. I think I'll go for Mahrez and Greenwood.
Same. I would do that too. Yeah.
I think it's because both Mahrez and Greenwood, they are trigger happy lads. They play on the wing. They love to cut in, and they just love to shoot from range. I mean, it's not to say that Son and Benrahma doesn't do that, but I think Son is more of a sprinter, counter-attacking kind of person, and Benrahma will probably be like a playmaker sort of player. So I think in terms of goal threat, probably Mahrez and Greenwood stands a higher chance.
Before we end the show, there's about 30 plus people in the stream right now, and I know half of you haven't liked the video, so drop a like before we go. I want to see that like go up to about 35 to 40 before we leave the stream. So hit the like button right now. I want to see it go up. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in your ear and keep this echo going. I know there's been some technical issues with the audio, but I'll try my best to fix it for the next show. Apologies for that, but hit that like button right now. I don't see it going up at all. Anyway, Zoe, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Good luck for your team come game week 1. Good luck. I hope you secure the bag in the FPL championships for FPL Expect Asians because you're the captain this week. But anyway, come on, hit that like button even more. We just need one more like for 35. Let's go. Or let's hit 40. Until we don't hit 40, you're gonna have to deal with my echo. Hello. Alright, so anyway, thank you. It's been absolute pleasure having you on. I hope to see you on the show sometime soon and on FPL Expect Asians. So before we go, you want to tell the people where they can give you a follow?
Oh yeah, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at ZhouFPL, and then also do subscribe to FPL Singhs, and also check out FPL Expectations, where we will also me and Prague will also feature in that show, where we talk about our teams and also some of the value players throughout the season. So thanks Prague for having me here. It's been a pleasure. I think some parts because this is the first show, I think we sort
rush through some parts, but I think it's totally fine. I hope
the viewers enjoy. Even after this, right before the deadline, you can DM me or you can tweet, and we have interactions.
All right, so I think that's it for today's show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Those who haven't subscribed and haven't liked this video, please hit that like button before we end the stream and whenever you're watching this. To everyone that participated in the chat, thank you so much. We'll see you again on the next show. Come next week, we have a special, one of the funniest lads that I know coming on. Check out my Twitter and you'll know right below. You can see my Twitter handle right there. Follow me on Twitter and you'll know who's going to come on next. Good luck for your Game Week 1 teams. Hope everyone hope everyone gets 1 point below me.